Hey everybody, it's Eric again, and we are hopefully wrapping up fitment on the panel today. We're back here working on this corner here. This is coming together pretty nicely here. This was the piece we were fabricating yesterday. As I said before, the quarter panel here has to cinch up to that eventually. So we're just kind of cutting and bending and stuff here to get this ready to go. It's hard to see down here, but you got to bend the quarter panel up here to meet up with the drop-off panel down there. So we're getting all this stuff where we want it. Just slow process, just a little cut here, a little cut there. Do some more bending and stuff around here to get this thing to fit better. That's the plan, that's what we're working on. Okay, we are done with all the fitting. Let me show you everything that we did today. We had to focus. We had to reconstruct this little piece right here because the quarter panel came in like back to here, so it was too short. So we had to bump it out this way. And if you remember from the last video, you can kind of see that line there, that the quarter panel stopped right here, so we added this little tab on there and also bumped the line out, like I said, to match up with the rocker at the bottom. We finished this edge up down here. This is ready to go. Push that up in there, weld that. We finished welding all of this. It's still ugly, but we have to put all the plug welds in, and so I'm gonna have to come and grind that all down later anyway, so there's no point in trying to make it perfect right now. This piece back here is pretty well done. So I remember before the quarter panel came down on this line right here, so we bumped it up to line up with this trim piece right here, whatever this thing's called. We got a screw in the back holding it in place, so now you can see it's pretty straight up along in here, like the other side. And then we had to bend the snot out of the quarter panel to get it to come up down there. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to weld that anyway, unless I can get to it from the inside, which I might be able to. If I can get a clamp on it and then weld it from the inside, that'll be good. But so this looks pretty good here, by way of comparison. So that's that side versus that side. You can see how the quarter panel kind of comes around on a little arc, and then it's flat all along that edge. And here it's fairly straight along this edge. Once we weld it, we can pull it in a little tighter, and then you see the quarter panel's got its little round around from that. So I think that's pretty darn close. Got this piece ready to weld in here. We sandblasted. I don't know if I commented on that the last video. I sandblasted all this stuff. So that's ready to go. So it's done. Now we just have to weld it. Or actually, the next step, I'm going to pull this off and then put epoxy over everything that's not going to be welded. And then it'll be ready to go. So we'll see. I may dive into this tomorrow. I may not. I'm guessing not, since I won't have the weld-through primer. So we might take the day off tomorrow. It's been a busy week. We worked every day this week on this thing, so I think that's a good place. So get the epoxy on there, and I think we're going to call it done for the week. All right. So here's a funny story. We were just going to scuff this because you saw before it was in really good shape. It had no rust or anything on it, just a few pieces of metal poking through. So we took some acetone, cleaned off all the gunk and everything, sanded it down with 180, looked good. And then I came across with the blower to blow this up, and all the paint just started blowing off. So we're like, what the heck? So anyway, we ground all the paint off. I think the acetone just basically released it because we didn't clean up inside here, and this stuff still seems to be stuck on pretty well. So, and we can't really get the grinder up in there anyway, so that's good. But anyway, so ta-da! All right, that is it for today. We put Eastwood rust encapsulator down in here where that was all pitted. I wire wheeled it out as best I could beforehand, and covered all this area in here with the rust encapsulator. We got 2 coats of epoxy on this. I had a bunch of epoxy left over on the second coat, so I went crazy heavy on this. Oops. So it doesn't like it when you put it on that heavy, obviously. That's alright. It's inside the car, you won't see it, so it's no problem. That's good. We got a coat of epoxy on this here. I sprayed some up in this area here where you won't be able to get to anymore. What else? The quarter panel. So from the body line down, all of that, it's got 2 coats of epoxy on it. Except I didn't do the top part, just the bottom. That's good enough. Of course, I had enough paint over. I could have done both sides, but whatever. And I sprayed all up inside the wheel well here as best I could. So that's it. We're not going to be working on the car tomorrow because I don't have the weld-through primer. We're ready to weld it on, but we don't have the parts necessary to do it, so it's going to have to wait till next week. But everything came out really nice. This corner fits really beautifully now. I'm super happy with how all that came out. Everything seems to be fitting really well, so hopefully when we weld it on, everything will stay where we put it, and it'll be a beautiful thing. But anyway, so next video will be welding time. Thanks everybody.